Cara, let's start with Paul Burrell, who worked with Princess Diana for a decade. He has claimed that Harry has, and I quote here, finally woken up to the truth about his wife Meghan Markle and is only staying in the marriage for the sake of the children. What do you make of these rather incredible claims from a man who was very close to Princess Diana and her sons for a period?
Hi, Rita. I'm quite apprehensive to trust anything Paul Burrell says just because he seems to pop up every now and then claiming something else. But I do believe him this time because I think that Harry would be idiotic not to have woken up now to the fact that he's been brainwashed. I mean, it's been 3 years. He has lost not only his entire family, his career, any career prospects, any real career prospects he would have had. And we know that since the start of January, there's been a kind of breakdown of their relationship. We saw this firstly when he went on tour for his memoir Spare, when Meghan wasn't around and kind of distanced herself from the whole project. So I think he is right to a degree now that Harry's waking up. But I do think he's wrong when he claims that the British people will welcome him back with open arms, and not only the British people, but the King and the Prince of Wales. I mean, I don't know about you, but I certainly wouldn't be welcoming anybody back with open arms after they've been on a 3-year crusade to try and damage the very thing that they're trying to uphold, you know?
Absolutely. Well, that's a really interesting argument there because, yeah, he says that the British people will just love him again because he was, along with the Queen, the most popular royal for the longest period, and now he's among the least popular down there with Prince Andrew and his wife Meghan. But I wonder, Cara, whether he's right there because so much of the blame of what's happened, so much of the blame for Harry's own conduct is put on Meghan. So I wonder if there is a breakup and he comes home, all of that will be put on Meghan and Harry will be seen as some sort of a victim, even though, you know, he's a grown man, he's about 40 years old.
I think this would have been true maybe less than a year ago to a year ago. I think a lot more people had sympathy at the start, where it kind of looked like this woman, this very intelligent, charismatic woman, kind of shipped him away from his family and his life. But since then, what we've seen unfold is, like you just said, he's a grown man. You have to put some blame on the 40-year-old guy himself. Meghan wasn't the one signing the Netflix documentaries on her own. She wasn't the only one filming. She didn't write the memoir, you know? I mean, Harry has to take some kind of responsibility. And I would say that the most damning things probably came out in Spare, where he not only trash talked his brother and father, but also Queen Camilla, who's pretty popular with the British public now. So, yeah, I think Harry's made his bed and Harry will lie in it.
Now, you have a piece in The Spectator on the renter-pap phenomenon where celebrities tip off paparazzi for a photo op. Tell me about this and whether the royals have ever employed these sort of tactics.
Yeah, well, this was interesting because after Meghan and Harry's catastrophic car chase which is, as you know, gridlocked a lot of the time, came out, even the most staunch Sussex defenders were like, this is ridiculous. And that got people thinking about how could this have been staged if it was. And a lot of people didn't know about rent-a-pap and the phenomenon of celebrities having a paparazzi on speed dial to orchestrate their own PR coverage, basically. And it was just interesting to kind of delve into because a lot of people didn't know that it existed. I mean, unless you live in Hollywood or LA or are tuned into that kind of celebrity aspect of news, then you wouldn't really know. But yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, you can't say 100% without getting sued that certain celebrities do this, but there are certain situations where you think, well, especially when celebrities are photographed walking into a restaurant, because you would think that like after sitting in a restaurant for 2 hours eating a meal, fellow diners could call and let people know that you're there. But what a lot of celebrities get wrong is they call paparazzi walking into a restaurant instead of walking out, and that kind of gets people thinking, well, how on earth, if you've been seen for a long time, how on earth would they know that you're about to leave your house to go and get some food, you know? So these are the kind of mistakes that celebrities make, and I think the Sussexes allegedly are kind of pretty renowned for doing these deals.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, every now and then you have a pap who spills the beans about celebs doing this sort of thing. And of course, programs like The Real Housewives have given us a real insight into how they employ those tactics. Now, I've got to play you this incredible footage. This is just the most cringeworthy thing I've seen all week. Meghan Markle, really awkward encounter after she tried to join her husband and his polo teammates on stage after a match last week. Now, it's just so cringeworthy. I don't know why she's up there, for one, but she was seen sort of pushing for a prime spot on the podium. The teammates were having none of it. They were just not even acknowledging her, not sort of letting her participate. Even Harry was, not paying her much attention. What's going on here? What's she doing on stage? And surely she knows that doesn't look good. She tried to grab that thing out of one of the teammates' hands, and he wouldn't give her whatever it was he was holding. The whole thing is a catastrophe and very embarrassing. And this is a very image conscious couple. So tell us about what happened there and why is she on stage?
Yeah, so this is after Harry won a trophy at an event at the Santa Barbara Polo Club. And this is interesting because I think I've spoken a lot the past few months about the kind of press crusade that Harry went on after his memoir Spare, and about how important it is that Meghan stayed 50 feet away at all times. And I think it's very telling because for a woman that usually tries to worm her way in or push and shove her way into the spotlight at any given time, which is very, very visible here. I mean, this had nothing to do with her. It's obviously very awkward. It's obvious that she very clearly wasn't meant to be up on stage. This hadn't been rehearsed. Harry is surrounded by his teenage teammates, for God's sake. This isn't a PR opportunity any kind, but she obviously sees it as one. But yeah, this is why I think that the Spears stuff is even more telling, because Meghan knew that the fallout from Harry's memoir was going to be embarrassing for her and going to be kind of bad image-wise. So she stayed away for that kind of PR crusade. Whereas stuff like this, where he is trying to get his own thing, he's trying to get into like local sports with a local team filled with teenagers, and she just can't help but kind of crowbar her way into the photo,
Crowbarring in with the world's biggest hat. The whole thing looked ridiculous, and I was just taken aback. I didn't realise the teammates were that young. Maybe that's why they were not willing to give up their trophies or acknowledge her. They're probably wondering, what's this chick doing up on stage with us? Cara Kennedy, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Rita.